If you feel like your company growth is also exposing you to more threats and creating more risk, you should watch this, because it's the role of the CTO to close that gap. I'm going to talk about how compliance risk management is a way for you to actually pull through and to create a culture of compliance. You know that we talk about the CTO having a key function in the company to shield the organization from threats. First thing we want to do is look at now. Start right away. Whether you're big, whether you're small, there is no time too late to start thinking about compliance, thinking about how you're executing on best practice, whether it's infrastructure or whether it's regulatory. Go for it. Do it. Secondly, understand your role as the facilitator. You are, as CTO, you have a very clear understanding of your technology, potentially the security threats and the vulnerabilities. Arm yourself with what's happening in adjacent organizations and see yourself as the facilitator of compliance, audits, assessments. Don't shy away from it. Secondly, assess the risk. So as a facilitator, bring people into the room, listen to them, understand what's going on, and see where the potential risks are and where you're potentially exposed as an organization. Thirdly, think about partnerships. We as CTOs are sometimes tempted to, oh, well, now I've got to do all this work. I've got to do these things. My team is busy. Everyone's overloaded. Think about partnerships on how you can have outsiders come in and help you with these assessments. There are certainly plenty of them. So all of this works together towards closing the gap, which is being compliant. Starting now, you're a facilitator, facilitate risk assessments, and look to whom you can partner. So I want to talk briefly about a tool that you can use, the risk assessment matrix, to help your team understand how imminent your threats are. So look at the risk assessment grid, and on the vertical side you have the likelihood of a threat, and on the horizontal you have the severity or the impact that that threat has on your organization. So I just went ahead and did 0 to 25, 25 to 50%. So there's a 50% chance of this happening or that happening. And then on the horizontal you look at the severity from minimal to medium to major to critical. This is again something that you do with your team. Then look at the color blocks. We have green, yellow, and red, and the rest should be fairly obvious. I put some numbers in there just to kind of describe what, how you can categorize some of your threats. And you'll notice in this particular example, we only have 2 threats that are critical. And we have 7 that are in the yellow, and we have a whole bunch of them that are in the green. This is also a fantastic communication tool that you can share with your C-suite. Remember, it's all about communication. So they have to understand what it is that is going on and why certain things are important. So a couple of risks, a couple of threats: data access, stability, transparency, identity management, data location, agreements you're making, control of the data, control of privacy, security, employees, employee contracts, contractor contracts, outsourcing, nearshoring, intellectual property, anonymization of data, production database access, your developers, your even access to your building. So there's a lot of things that start coming into play as you're growing as a company. Put this on the risk assessment matrix and help your company understand which threats are imminent. There are regulations that are mandated through law. There are regulations that are just good best practice. So let's look at where you can start. You can start with best practice on your infrastructure setup. There are multiple tools out there to help you with that. Secondly, SOC 2. SOC 2 is a fantastic way to get a report about how you're handling everything from privacy to process integrity to data security, and there's 5 trust criteria. Then there's the GDPR, CCPA, all kinds of data protection, data privacy laws. There's the international ISO 27001. Then there are industry-specific regulations like HIPAA, PCI. I want to leave you with just this idea of partnership. So we don't have time always to do these things ourselves. I want to highly recommend that you start building relationships with service providers and people that you can build and earn trust, them with you and you with them, in order to partner with moving forward. So you have your departments. Be the CTO that talks to people and that wants to facilitate conversation between departments. You have attorneys, you have lawyers who work on cybersecurity law, privacy protection laws all day, every day. Talk to them and start the conversation around what is applicable to you and what is not. You can also talk to some auditors. There are people who do SOC 2 audits or all kinds of SOC audits that would be more than willing to share with you what those reports look like and how they should be completed. You have peers. Talk to fellow companies who have gone through these things, and you have third-party authenticators who can help you with automating in real time the situation that you're facing inside of your company. One final tip about lawyers is you can have attorney-client privilege in disclosing some of your situations, and that is protected, and you can work with them in a secret fashion. So compliance doesn't have to be a swear word. Go and do it. Let's do this.